All right, back to Face to the Mat. This is a customized version of Face to the Mat. It's using a little bit more of a 70s and 80s style to it, and um, using some custom cards, and which you're not going to see the custom cards or any of that stuff. I'll just have this image, but I wanted to share my results from the first couple of episodes. I've got some custom announcing here that features Bob Cottle, which to me adds a great deal to this. But I wanted to share my first couple of shows. It's basically the first week of our promotion, and I will let you hear those. Won't be a whole lot of video. In fact, there'll be none. It'll just be this photo. But it's pretty short, five or 6 minutes, and a recap of the show from the Lynchburg Armory in Virginia, and then the television taping at Raleigh.
Hi again, wrestling fans, and welcome to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. What a great night of wrestling we just had. Let's go over the results from that exciting night at the Lynchburg Armory. In the opening contest, beautiful Bruce Swayze just walked out of his match against Tiger Conway Jr., resulting in a countout. The next match was a spirited match between Paul Jones and the Missouri Mauler. Paul Jones won a close one, but after the match was the real story. The Missouri Mauler told Paul Jones he appreciated the great match and told the fans he was going to change his ways and focus more on winning matches cleanly. Paul Jones just smirked. In the co-main event, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Gene and Ole Anderson, narrowly escaped with a tag team victory over Les Thornton and Bill Miller. And in the main event, everyone was ready for a great match between two legends, Johnny Valentine and Wahoo McDaniel. Even Paul Jones came out to watch. However, within seconds, it was clear Paul Jones was doing more than watching. He launched a sneak attack on Wahoo, and Johnny Valentine followed it up with his dreaded brainbuster elbow, and within minutes, it was over. Paul Jones hugged Johnny Valentine, and the fans threw cups and popcorn in disgust. Fans, just a reminder, don't forget our next event coming up Saturday afternoon from the WRAL TV studio. You'll see such stars as Bruce Swayze, the Missouri Mauler. The Privates will be in action taking on the Flying Scots. You'll see Buzz Tyler taking on Rufus R Jones, and our main event will be Paul Jones versus Wahoo McDaniel. That promises to be an explosive matchup. Well, fans, there you have it. Tune in later this week for our next exciting wrestling review. Until then, so long for now.
All right, so that was episode 1 from the Lynchburg Armory, and now we're going to take you to the television taping, which would air on Saturday evening, following cartoons, of course, and we'll find out what happened there. Bob Cottle with a recap of that show.
Hi again, wrestling fans, and welcome to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. What a great night of wrestling we just had. Let's go over the results from the WRAL TV studio taping. In the opening contest, beautiful Bruce Swayze faced off against the Missouri Mauler. In a tight contest, Swayze was able to win via submission. After the match, the Professor Boris Malenko took the microphone. He praised Swayze and then offered his managerial services. Swayze was thrilled and immediately accepted the offer. The next match was a tag team contest that featured the young team of Sergeant Slaughter's privates against the veteran Flying Scots, George and Sandy. The Scots had their way for most of the match and won the contest when Private Kernodle was deemed unable to continue by referee Tommy Young. After the match, during their TV interview, they challenged the Minnesota Wrecking Crew to a grudge match. The Andersons accepted. We were later told that this match, this coming Friday at the Richmond Coliseum, would be for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team titles. In the next match, Rufus R Freight Train Jones took on Buzz Tyler. Jones surprised Tyler with an early roll-up and got the early pinfall win. Following the match, Tyler ambushed Jones, leaving him injured. Tyler then stormed onto the TV set and proclaimed he was robbed by a dirty, underhanded, and gutless maneuver. We later learned that Rufus will be out of action for several weeks. Then in our main event, number 1, Paul Jones faced off against a very upset Indian chief, Wahoo McDaniel, in a TV time limit match. The hard-hitting battle went back and forth until Wahoo connected with a series of moves, including a drop kick, Indian deathlock, and a vicious pile driver. Things looked like they were all going Wahoo's way until, wouldn't you know it, Johnny Valentine ambushed Wahoo as Paul Jones distracted the referee, rolled the big Indian back in the ring, and Paul Jones covered him for the 3 count. Fans, just a reminder, don't forget our next event coming up Friday night at the Richmond Coliseum. You see Tiger Conway, Les Thornton teaming up with Bill Miller, Bruce Swayze with his manager Boris Malenko, and in the co-main event, number 1, Paul Jones against Wahoo McDaniel. And for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team titles, the Flying Scots face off against Gene and Ole Anderson, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Well, fans, there you have it. Tune in later this week for our next exciting wrestling review. Until then, so long for now.
All right, we hope you'll join us for that exciting card Friday night at the Richmond Coliseum. We'll see you then.